last spring when news broke that Mayor Drew Dilkens' wife, Jane Deneau, was hired for a project manager role with the City of Windsor. The hiring quickly became a topic of public debate. Critics questioned whether the mayor could have influenced this process, while others called for an independent review to ensure the city's hiring rules had been followed. That review has now concluded. A report from the city's integrity commissioner found there was no impropriety, no undue influence, and no abuse of power by Mayor Dilkens or anyone acting on his behalf. The position was posted publicly, 278 people applied, and 3 candidates were selected for interviews by a panel of department managers. According to the report, the mayor had no involvement in creating the position or in the hiring decision, and the family relationship was disclosed appropriately during the process. So I'm curious on your thoughts. I mean, do we think in situations like this, it's less about whether rules were actually broken, but more the overall perception of fairness when a family member is hired, Steve?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm sorry, Mayor Dilkens, you don't have me on this one. I remember reading the quote in the article on this, and I think maybe it was a Twitter post you put out, or X, or whatever we're calling it now. My wife is a great candidate. I did nothing wrong by hiring my wife. I mean, just the fact that you're saying my wife is what kind of brings the problem up. You would have named the individual by name, who would have made the connection. But you're right. I mean, it's just the optics of it are terrible, right? And, from my experience on council and integrity commissioners were kind of getting off the ground at that point. At the end of the day, you could drive a semi-truck through half the loopholes that exist here. I mean, yeah, he wasn't involved in the hiring process. Of course not. The mayor doesn't hire staff, right? He didn't create the position. Of course not. Administration recommends it. However, I'm sure he voted at budget time to create the position. So where do we draw the line? I mean, at the end of the day, did she not tell him she was applying for the job? Like, was he completely unaware of this? Were people in the process completely unaware it's the mayor's wife? I mean, some of it might be true, but all of it just becomes far too far stretched to really believe, in my opinion. And ultimately, you've got the ruling, you've got your insulation, but it's the optics. I mean, quite frankly, it's the optics.
So I don't think that the mayor did anything wrong here. I think family members have to be able to apply and compete fairly. But I do think that maybe what you need to do is basically say, okay, if there is a relationship, then anybody sort of in that chain, sort of 3 rungs up. So the manager that you report to, the manager that they report to, and maybe 1 level up from that, has to be out of the sphere of influence of the strong mayor who can hire and fire those people. So maybe that's what you kind of have to assign and delegate to either the CAO, or I don't know if you have a political deputy or acting mayor on something like that, or if it's just assigned to the CAO. But it is a problem that I don't know how you get around.
Well, I think you get around by family members just realizing that, there's certain positions maybe you shouldn't apply for. And I'm sorry if that sounds crass, but does it really sit right to any of the viewers out there? Do you look at this and go, yeah, okay, I feel better knowing the integrity commissioner studied this? No, you're still kind of wondering what really went on. And that's the problem. The question continues. What really went on behind closed doors?
So is it a hard no on mayor, councillors, and CAO that cannot have, a family member can't apply?
It's just the optics. Does the reasonable person, does the average taxpayer and resident out there look at it and go, yeah, I'm not concerned about any nepotism here? What about the people that are passed over? They've now got a real reason to wonder, was I really given a fair shake? And 278 applicants, 3 interviews. I don't know, I had questions about those numbers, if I'm being honest with you.